Hello everyone, my name is Smithy and welcome to my top 10 RuneLite plugins that you need in old school RuneScape. Now this list is a mixture for brand new players to existing players who have played thousands of hours. Hopefully there's something here that will improve your quality of life around Gielinor. So this list of 10 are ones that I pretty much use every single day. They've improved my my gaming experience on RuneLite. And the ones that you definitely should be installing on your own client. Obviously, I should say as well that do not download plugins outside of RuneLite. So by that I mean through the official plugin hub. That way you know that all of them are tested and don't break any TOS. You're not going to get banned for using them. If they're on RuneLite, they're all good. They've been cleared by Jagex and they're okay for you to use. Also, come on, we don't want the old trying to get the Dragon Scimitar mouse cursor back in the day and getting your computer absolutely destroyed. We don't want any of that. We don't want any of that. So, that's enough of me waffling. Let's get into number one, shall we? Now, this first one is a bit of a combo. Now, if you watch my series, you know I use both of these together all the time. Every single time I'm doing PVM, these two are name a more iconic duo, and that is bank tags and bank tag layouts. Now, bank tags, you can tag up items in your bank, multiple tags, for example, different bosses, different activities, different skills, etc., etc. And then you've got bank tag layouts that allow you to create a tab within your bank. So, you know, you've got the tabs across the top, you've got tabs along the side, and if we jump into the bank account, I'll show you what I mean. So, in our bank, we have, obviously, the ones along the top, and we've got all of these custom ones that are along the side that you can make as many as you like. You just hit the plus, type in a new tag. So, say we were doing a new Cree setup, for example, we could then set up the tab. It would drop down at the bottom. You can then move these all around if you want to as well. And then you can create like a custom setup that you just need to click through. That means that you can then gear up and then set your inventory. We'll get to that. But if we jump onto, say here, for example, my Bando's chestplate, I've got 7 different tags on here. So I've got it tagged for Bandos, Tormented Demons, Duke, TOA, Araxor, DKs, and Royal Titans. And then if we come over to our Bandos tab, you can see here I've got my gear set up. I've then got my inventory set up that I can then just click through and, you know, fill up my inventory. I've got all set on them. There we go. And then set up your inventory, and then you're good to go, which is it is great when you're mid-trip, you're coming back to the bank, you need to, you know, quickly jump in your bank, ditch your loot that you've got so far, and then re-gear and get back there. So this kind of setup is amazing for quick turnaround times when you're in your bank. You're not clicking through all of it. Oh, do I need, how many of these do I need? It creates like a one-stop shop. You can jump in, grab everything, get back to doing the gaming. You can even leave like placeholders in here as well. So I store my Void, my Elite Void, I should say, in my bank. Sorry, I just had a massive cough. I'm actually ill at the moment. I had a massive cough, which I had to stop recording for. Now I'm in recovery mode. Anyway, I store all this in my bank, but not in my bank, sorry, in my house. When I come in this tab, I can see, I need to go and grab those from my house if I haven't done so already. And then you've got, like, I like tagging in things that are from the collection log as well. So if we come in here, where's an example of one that I've used? There we go. So like my Zamorakin spear, I've now turned that into a Hasta, but I've got a little placeholder here. So if I get any more, they'll go wherever in my bank, and then they'll populate here as well, so I can see them, how many I've got. It's just nice, you know, you can track everything. There's another one there with my Bando's hilt. Yeah, and that is through tagging up your gear, for example, and you can actually do it through this. So if I say I'm putting on my Graceful and I want to set up an Agility tab, so I come on here, I type in Agility. There's a new tag that then drops down the bottom. You see, it sets its icon as just a shovel. Change icon. Let's do it to a Mark of Grace, for example. Grab that. Jump on here. You hit this button here, preview auto layout. hit tick, and then you can move this around. You can set up your tab however you like. So if that's how you like it, cool. You can then go in here and put in alkables, for example. So say we come on here, I like when I do my agility, I like to out my battle stars. So if I drag and drop, that now drops in here and it's ready to go, ready for me to, when I do want to do a session of running some rooftops, I can grab my battle stars. Oh, I need my alk runes, so I can drop them in there, I can drop that in there, and then I can move it around just like that. And if I had these in my inventory, for example, these would come in on that auto layout that I showed at the start. And then I'm like, I don't really need this anymore. I can delete it. Tab and tags for all items, and there we go. Easy peasy. Easy peasy. It's something you can play around with. Like I've got ones here that I've had for years that I don't really use anymore. I probably should update. But then I've got ones for all sorts of activities that I've been doing fairly frequently, or they're ones that I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to come back to this at some point. If I set up a tab, I don't need to remember what I normally use. So I can come back here. It's a point of reference. I can grab everything, update anything that I need. And you can also duplicate items. So see here that I've got multiple sharks. You can duplicate an item and then move it around. And you're like, I accidentally did that. Let's remove duplicate item. But moving on to the next one, in the theme of banking, there's a really nice one that is great for your skilling grinds. Now, I've talked about this one before. It's called Banked XP. And what you do is you go into your bank and then it can load in everything that you've got in your bank account. So if we come over to the right-hand side, it's just called Banked Experience, as you can see here. My settings for that are as follows. Come in here, you've got construction, cooking, crafting, farming, firemaking, fletching, herblore, hunter, prayer, smithing, and thieving. The hunter one, ignore it. It's like logs that you make into birdhouses. The thieving one, I don't even know what the thieving one really is. No one uses that. But construction's really good because it looks at your plankable wood that you have in your bank, and then any long and curved bones that you've got. You can then set if you've got the outfit as well, and it will tell you how many levels you've got banked. So if we look at crafting, come in here and it picks up, and you can actually block certain things as well. So if you want to ignore molten glass because you don't want to include it for some reason, you can set that. And then you've got farming, which again is a bit of a one because a lot of these might die. Same with herblore, but fletching is really good because it tells you like based on the lumber and other bits and pieces that you have in your bank, like dart tips, bolt tips, all that sort of stuff. Fire making, I mean, most people do it at Wintertod, but you can have a look at how many logs you've got and how much XP that would give you. Farming we already looked at. What else we got? Prayer. This is one that I use quite a lot. You can actually set if you're using your bones on the Wieldy altar or if you're using them on the Ectofunctus, etc., etc., and it will change the XP that you're going to get per bone. It does say about blessed bone shards on like dragon bones. I didn't know you could even do that. You probably can't. I'm not sure why that's there. But anyway, you get the idea. Again, you can set if you've got the outfit on, for example, and it tells you how much XP you until the next level that you've got level banked up here. So that's quite cool. You can then see how much more you need to stock up to then get to the next level and the next level and the next level. You then got smithing, which is quite good. You can set here about whether you're doing blast furnace or normal bars or iron bars with iron ore, for example. And then if you come to your bars, you could say steel products or cannonballs, and then you can come on here. And it doesn't currently have, what's it called? Giant's Foundry. But, it's a pretty good gauge of where you're at. Like I've got 97 banked, but Giant's Foundry should be more than that, I believe. But yeah, it's a nice one. Really, really nice one for your for doing quick maths, You don't have to get out the Casio calculator anymore. You can just jump on here, does the maths for you. Happy days. Now, this next one is, I guess more PVM, but I guess it is everything, really. And that is the tile indicators. Now, tile indicators are really good because you can see I've got a box around my character right now. And if we come in here, you can see I've got highlight destination tile, highlight hovered tile, so that's not the one that I've currently got on. That's true tile that currently looking at, and True Tile, which is the main point that I wanted to make about this plugin. So, say if I click here, you can see that tile there is where your current actual physical coordinates of your character is, not the player model, because your player model is actually slightly lagged when you're moving around. See RuneScape as a giant chessboard. We're already one square ahead sometimes of where we actually are, which is great when you're learning certain mechanics in PVM, for example, or if you're looking at like Hello to Polka, I guess, as well, how your movement around that. But yeah, the highlighted destination, obviously you can configure all of these colors as well. So you can see here where you've got the hash number. You can change all of that. But if we were to turn off destination tile, it wouldn't highlight where we're going. If we were to turn off true tile, it would just highlight, where our destination is if we have that turned on. And then the hover tile is this kind of grayed out one here. So if we turn that off, you won't see that. But that's kind of a quick whistle-stop tour of tile indicators. Highly recommend using them, especially if you're a newer player. Learn out how you actually move around the game. Yeah, highly recommend. Works wonders when you're doing certain PVM stuff where positioning is absolutely key. All right, this next one is more on the skilling scene, I guess, but it's just helpful because there's a lot of items in this game that, at a glance, look identical. I'm talking about seeds, I'm talking about herbs. So if we come in here and we put in item identification, grab that. I normally just have herbs on. I also have saplings too, but you can turn on a whole range of different things, seeds being quite a prominent one. So if we come into the bank, for example, I'll show you what I mean. So go to my herbs tab. You see here I've got snap, candidine, lantadime, all of that sort of stuff. If I turn that off, it's all just green. It's just a whole load of green. You're like, well, what green is this? What green is that? Turn that on. Happy days. Then I've got herb seeds. Yeah. Ah, yes. That seed's great. That one right there. The first one compared to the fourth one. Oh, yes. They look exactly the fucking same. So, turn that one on. Now you can see that it's Renar, Snapdragon, Torstal, Toadflax, for example. And then you've got the saplings as well. So if you come over to my seed vault, because that's where I store all my saplings, you can come through here. And at a glance again, they all look the bloody same. So if I pull one of these out, for example, you can see it says banana, whereas this one would say curry. And this one would say apple. You get the idea. Very, very useful. Yeah. If you got a whole, you don't like you. If you're doing a farm run, for example, and you're wanting to put certain seeds in certain spots, helps out with that. Highly recommend. This next one is one that has saved my life on my on my hardcore before, especially not just in combat, but when doing decanting pots, for example. Especially when I'm doing that same thing on this account that I'm on right now. Someone told me about this in the comments, one episode of my Iron Man progression series, and I haven't looked back after setting it up. Now, if we look on the plugin hub, it's called Not Empty. And it is what it says on the tin. You will never empty your potions again. So if we come on here and we go Not Empty, and then we grab ourselves a pot, for example. Let's grab one, shall we? Let's grab an ancient brew. So if we turn off Not Empty and we right click, you can see here there's this empty option that sometimes if you want to drop something or you want to use something, say if you're quickly dropping brews, for example, in TOA, you quickly need to hit drop. Not only is it one less thing in the list, it's also an accident waiting to happen. So you turn on Not Empty, and it's gone. It's gone. You're never going to empty that pot again. Turn it on, forget about it. It's fantastic. Now this next one is another one that is focused around tiles, and like I said about the game being a giant chessboard. If we do tile packs, this one is fantastic. Now, if you've seen some of my older guides, you would have seen that I always share the tiles that I'm marking and that. And for a lot of the time, those tiles are tiles that are kind of the norm for a certain boss. Now, tile packs is great because you don't need to actually highlight the tiles anymore yourself. You can jump in, grab the tile from the pack. You can see there's a whole bunch of tiles in here, and you can also create your own, which is quite cool. So if we go to, I'm trying to see one that's easy for us to quickly run to. Let's quickly go to, let's go to Hydra, because that one I know because I used that one. So let me quickly go and grab my that, and I'll meet you there. So with Hydra, I've got my tiles that I've put in myself that I've imported, that someone has shared with me on here. Now, if you were to come on to tile packs, you've got a couple of options for Hydra. So the tiles that I have here at the moment are for range, and we've got, if we turn on the tile pack, it actually gives us, the same, similar tiles, very similar tiles, also some bonus ones as well, and I believe these are like live as well, so if there's any changes to like metas and that of tile packs, you can update those. Say I managed to get myself the best melee weapon to kill Hydra ever, and I'm like, oh, maybe I should switch to a melee method. Turn on that, I turn on what I would, turn off my range, for example, and I'm ready to go with my melee. But probably a bad example because these are all placed by an import. Yeah, very, very handy. It means that you've got a kind of on a click of a button. For example, I've got these for TOA, I've got some. I was using the volcanic mine, I think, at some point as well. And you can also search. So say I wanted to look for Grador. There you go, you've got all the different ones here. The Altador, for example. I've been using the ones for Cree when I was learning. Oh, that's not Cree, sorry, Krill. And there's an apostrophe in there. So I was using these when trying to learn different methods for Krill when I was learning that until I got my Scorching Bow and Lightbearer. Highly recommend. It helps out with quickly getting those tiles in to your client. And also you don't need an import or an export. You just grab it from the list. Unless it's one that's like actually custom, then that might not be on there. But you get the idea. Very, very handy. Highly recommend, especially for all you guys who are learning PVM out there. And now I've done a bit of Blue Peter for the last, not the last one, the next one, I should say. Again, we're coming over to the plugin hub, and we're going to be looking up bossing info, which is this first one here by Mr. Nice 98. One of my favourite plugins in the game. This one is absolutely sick. If I come over to my settings, this is everything that I've got on here. There you go. There you go. And if you want to copy and paste that into your own, by all means. I've done a bit of Blue Peter because I've been doing some Zulrah. As you can see on screen here, I've got this little overlay on my client. And you see, when I hover over it, it gives me all this lovely information about my kills per hour, how many kills I've done, how much time I've spent doing it, my fastest, etc., etc. We come over to the banked, oh no, not banked, bossing info on the right-hand side here. We can see all of that information. We can then see the loot that we've got for this session as well, giving ourselves a GP per kill, how much per hour, how many kills we've done, and our total GP that we've earned through killing a boss. And then you can pause and resume this as well. So say if you need to go for an Ari Lash or something, you can quickly pause and you can go and have a piss and come back, and you've not ruined your kills per hour. And then you can end your session when you're actually done, hit end, it will take that off your screen, and then when you come back and you want to do some more Zulrah, I'm pretty sure it clears this and you'll start again. Or if you want to go and do another boss, it will just clear this and it will start off with a new boss that you're doing. Really, really, really bloody good. Especially if you're interested in tracking how much money that you're earning compared to, how much you're spending on resources, for example, if you are like a normal account. But just to get an idea, maybe if you want to show off to your friends how your RNG has been for a trip, you can go, hey, look, I got myself an Uncut Onyx, and I got all this other stuff. Instead of just going onto your, bad example because it's not loaded in all my other kills at Zulrah. But, when you come on in and go, oh, I've, say for example, on that tracker I had 112 Kraken. This just shows all of my Kraken kills, but I want to show what I've done this session. That's where bossing info comes into its own. Highly recommend it, especially if you like doing PVM. Get it installed. It's fantastic. Now this next one, I'm sure a lot of you already have set up, but if you are new to using RuneLite or new to the game in general, GPU is fantastic. Now, I have my draw distance set to 60 on here. It can go all the way up to 100. I kind of just left it on default settings, to be perfectly honest. But this switches the game from using your CPU to using your GPU, and you just look at that. Oh, my head's just shrunk by doing that. Look at that. Wee. It's a noticeable difference of quality of the game. It puts less stress on your CPU and switches it over to your GPU in your computer, which is what you want to be using for graphic intensive things, is your graphical processing unit. Makes the game look so much better. It runs so much smoother. Highly recommend getting that on, especially if you are new to the game and maybe you just didn't know that this was a plugin built into RuneLite. Get it turned on right now. Unless you're playing on a potato, then maybe play around with it first. I don't want any potatoes setting alight. But then again, it does mean that maybe it's dinner time then, if your potato did set on fire. Then you just got your jacket potato. I don't know, I'm not your mum, do what you want. And now our penultimate one is another one that I think a lot of people are using. Like, I think it's probably one of the most popular RuneLite plugins, and that's Quest Helper. Again, it's over on the plugin. All of these probably are mainly over on the plugin hub, so go on there to download them if you don't see them when you type them in on your configuration list. Quest Helper, goated. Here's all my settings. If you want to copy them, you can pause the video while I scroll through them. But Quest Helper does what it says in the tin. Come over here. Obviously, I've got a quest cape, so I've got all the quests done. Not flexing, but have I done? Oh, there's some mini quests I haven't done. There we go. So if you wanted to do Bare Your Soul, for example, you'd hit that, and then it would give you a step-by-step guide on how to do the quest, and it also throws an overlay on your client as well, telling you what the next steps are. It highlights everything as well, so if there's a door you need to go through, there's an item you need to pick up, there's this, there's that, there's everything. It's got you. It's incredible. It's like such a great plugin because questing is a little bit rubbish. I'll say it. Questing is one of the worst things in the game. It's just a pain in the arse, and this just makes it so much easier, so much more reclined. The days of putting on a guide on your other screen to watch through a quest, it does it in real time. Obviously, when new quests come out, there's a bit of a delay, but they've got to do the quest themselves and then write the guide for it. So fair play. But yeah. Highly recommend getting it installed if you haven't done so already, which I'll be shocked if you haven't, if you are someone who's played the game, a decent amount of time. And now, the last one is one for all of my fellow gamers who venture into the big, scary wilderness. So let me quickly go to a bank because I need to grab a teleport. But this one is called Wilderness Lines. I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. Yeah, Wilderness Lines. Let me go. Boom. And essentially what it does is it paints lines over the wilderness that you can see where I can teleport out from, which is a big one. Where is multi areas, which if you don't know what multi is if you're in a multi area, multiple things can attack you at once, which means if there's a big group of PKers, they can all jump on you and absolutely destroy you. If you're not in multi, only one can attack at a time. So that's what multi means, if you didn't know. We're going to grab a crab teleport, and we're going to teleport out to the big scary wilderness. But before we do, here's all the settings. We've got our multi lines in red. You can show spear lines as well, which is where you can be speared into multi. So you'll be dragged into multi if you are hit in that kind of sector, which I will show you when we go. Then we've got show line 30, which is when you can then use your seed pod, for example, and then show line 20, or show 20 line, which is teleports that you can only teleport out under 20 wilderness. So if we break that, teleport into the wilderness now, I'll show you what I mean. So we're out here in the big spooky wilderness. We can see this big red line. That is multi. So you can see up here, there's no little swords. If I step across this line, you can see there's crossed swords, which means you're in a multi area. Now, if we step over this line, we're no longer in multi. Someone has been murked recently there. And then we've got this yellow line that can be drawn, which is if you're in this area, you're going to get dragged into multi. But if you're the other side of it, you're safe from being dragged as well. Then you've got this blue line here, which goes all the way across the wilderness. And once you see here, we've got level 33. Once we get past this blue line, we'll be dropping down to level 30, which means we can hit our seed pod and teleport out safely. So, red line, one side of it, multi, other side of it, not. Blue line, when you're never eat shredded. South of it, you can teleport home safely with a seed pod, for example. Really, really saves your life. It's something to aim for when you're being chased by about 30 PKers. It has come in clutch a number of times when I've been out in the wilderness doing wilderness bossing. Highly recommend getting it on if you are going to be doing like Callisto, Venenatus, and not Calvarion. What's the big version called? I can't remember. Vetion. I've just literally had like a brain fart on what's it called, and it's going to annoy me. Vetion. Yeah, I did get it right. Yeah, if you're going to be doing those three, highly recommend getting it on. If you're out there doing clues, maybe as well, I recommend it too. But yeah, wilderness lines really, really helps if you are going to be venturing out into the big spooky wilderness. But anyway, that is going to do it for my top 10 RuneLite plugins that you need in 2025. And if there's any I missed, let me know in the comments. I would 100% be down to make a follow-up video of maybe some of you guys' suggestions in the comments. So if there is one that's burning a hole in your keyboard that you must type to me, send it my way. I'd love to hear it. Maybe I don't use it and I'm like, oh, actually, I'll get that on my list for next time. So anything like that, let me know. Subscribe if you're new around here for more guides like this. Also, my Iron Man progression series that comes out every Sunday at 6 o'clock UK time. And that's me notebook closed. And that means I'm out of notes. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Drop a like because it helps that lovely algorithm. Keep our algorithm overlords happy. And I'll see you all in a new video very, very soon. Bye!